It was busy morning. Everyone was running around the house, packing bags, shouting names and searching for lost chargers. The John family's countryside trip had been planned for weeks and now everyone was running around, loading luggage, checking snacks and arguing over who forgot what. You were sitting on the front steps holding two travel mugs. Jungkook was near the van, checking something under the hood. He didn't look in a hurry like the rest. He never did. You walked over to him. Coffee? He glanced at you, his eyes calm as always. Thanks. He sat and took the cup from your hand. You usually say no. You said quietly. He looked at the drink, then at you. You made it? You nodded. Yeah. He took a small sip and nodded once. It's good. You smiled a little. Glad you like it. He didn't say more, but you saw the way his fingers held the cup gently. Careful, like he didn't want to drop something warm. Being married to Jungkook was quiet. He wasn't the kind of husband who raised his voice or ignored you on purpose. He just lived in silence, a calm, cold kind of silence. He spoke politely, did what he was supposed to do, and never forgot little things like holding the door or checking if you had eaten. But when it came to closeness, he changed. He didn't like when your hand brushed his arm by mistake or when you reached too close to fix his tie. It wasn't rejection, but it felt like it sometimes. You used to think maybe he disliked your touch. Later, you realized it wasn't that. He simply never knew how to be touched. Jungkook had never been close to any girl before you. No relationships, no flings, no small careless gestures of affection. You were the first woman he had ever let into his life, and even then, it was through an arranged marriage, not by choice or pursuit. So, everything about you, your voice, your nearness, the warmth of your presence was new to him. Strange, overwhelming. Still, he never hurt you with words, never spoke harshly. He just kept his distance, not knowing how to cross it. Soon, everyone came out of the house carrying their bags. His mom called, "Come on, everyone, let's move before it rains." You followed the others to the van. It was full his parents, his brother, cousins, even a kid who was already playing with the window button. You looked around and froze. Wait, there's no seat left. His aunt turned with a teasing grin. Oh, there is a seat. You can sit with Jungkook. You blinked. What? His cousin immediately joined in laughing. Don't act shy now. He's your husband, not some stranger from the street. You looked around helplessly. No, really, it's okay. I can just wait for the next van. Nonsense. You two have been married for months and still act like you met yesterday. The other cousin leaned forward with a grin. We didn't leave a seat on purpose, you know. Maybe now we'll see a little romance on this trip. Laughter broke out. Even Jungkook's younger brother chuckled, hiding his smile behind his hand. You felt your face burning. You all are unbelievable. Someone at the back teased, "Come on, we are giving you an opportunity. You'll thank us later." You looked at Jungkook quickly, silently begging him to say something, to stop them, to end this teasing. But he didn't. He just sat there, calm as always, one hand resting loosely on his knee. He looked up at you then, his voice quiet but steady. "It's fine. Sit." Your eyes widened. You couldn't believe he actually agreed. "You sure?" He gave a small nod, his tone simple. "Yeah, everyone is waiting." Your heart thudded against your ribs. You hesitated, clutching your bag tightly, then stepped closer. Carefully, you lowered yourself onto his lap, trying not to meet anyone's eyes. The van instantly filled with playful noise. "Look at them, so cute. Finally, some progress in this marriage," another cousin said. "Should we clap?" The whole van laughed. You hid your face in your hands, mumbling under your breath, "They are never going to let this go." Beside you, Jungkook gave a small breath of a laugh, the kind that sounded more like he was trying not to laugh. You could feel the quiet movement of his chest beneath you. Still, you noticed the stiffness in his body, his shoulders straight, his hands flat on his knees like he didn't know where to put them. You whispered softly so only he could hear. You can push me away if you're uncomfortable. He turned his head slightly, eyes calm. I'm not. You look like you're holding your breath. He glanced down for a moment, then looked back out the window, just not used to it. You bit your lip, smiling faintly. Me neither. The teasing still continued from the back. Hey, Jungkook, don't act so serious. At least put your arms around her. The van could shake. Another cousin said, yeah, protect your wife. You looked up instantly, eyes wide. No, it's fine. I'm fine. Jungkook looked like he wanted to disappear for a second, but then slowly he lifted one hand and rested it lightly behind you. Not touching fully, just hovering there. That was enough to make everyone cheer. Oh, look at that. So sweet. He groaned quietly. It's so embarrassing. He let out a soft, breathy laugh. Their family. They'll never stop. You looked up at him for a second. His face was calm, but there was a small, almost hidden smile tugging at his lips. It was so rare to say it that your heart fluttered a little. After a few minutes, the teasing died down as the van started moving. The laughter turned into small conversations. You sat still for a moment, then felt his body slowly relax under you. His shoulders dropped slightly and he leaned back. The stiffness was gone now. His breathing was slow, steady. You spoke quietly, almost in a whisper. You really don't mind? He shook his head once. No. Then you both felt so comfortable that the conversation shifted to something personal. You never thought you'll find courage to ask. You don't talk much, do you? He gave a faint smile. You talk enough for both of us. You turned, pretending to glare at him. Excuse me? He met your eyes briefly, the corner of his mouth lifting again before he looked away. You sighed dramatically. Unbelievable. But when you leaned back again, you felt his chest rise and fall under you, slow and calm, and for the first time you didn't feel nervous sitting there. The van moved, laughter fading into the background. He might not have said much, but the warmth of his body and the quiet comfort between you said more than words could ever. After a while, the laughter faded. Everyone started talking among themselves. The van rolled down the road smoothly, sunlight brushing across the windows. You had woken up too early that morning and now your eyelids were growing heavy. You tried to stay awake, but his warmth, the steady rise and fall of his chest, it felt too peaceful. Before you realized it, your head had tilted back and rested against him. At first, Jungkook froze completely. His breath hitched, his heart skipped a beat, so loud in his own chest that he was scared someone else might hear it. He looked down at you again and something inside him shifted, quiet, unfamiliar but strangely warm. He had never felt this before, never had someone so close, so trusting, so unguarded near him. For years he had built walls around himself, steady, cold, polite enough to keep people comfortable but never close enough to touch his heart. Yet here you were, asleep on his chest, breathing softly, your head resting against him like it was the safest place in the world. His heart thudded hard once, then again, slower this time, but deep, steady. It was confusing. It shouldn't feel this good. He swallowed, trying to calm the odd warmth spreading through him. Was this what people meant when they said they felt at ease? He never really understood that before, but right now, sitting in that crowded van with your weight gently leaning into him, it's like something clicked inside him. He wasn't used to it, this kind of closeness, this kind of quiet tenderness. He had always been careful with people, afraid of saying or doing the wrong thing. But you weren't forcing anything, you just were. And that made it easier for him to breathe. For the first time, he didn't mind someone being that close. He didn't feel trapped, he didn't feel tense, just calm. And in that stillness, he realized maybe it wasn't such a bad thing letting someone in. Then his mother turned from the front seat, holding out a small blanket. Here, cover her, she must be tired. He took it silently, the fabric brushing his fingers warm and soft. Carefully, almost too gently, he wrapped the blanket around you, tucking it near your shoulders so you wouldn't wake. You shifted slightly, sighing softly in your sleep, your hand resting near his chest. Everyone in the van noticed, but no one said a word this time. His aunt shared small smiles, his cousins exchanged quiet glances, their laughter replaced by something softer. It was a simple moment, no teasing, no noise, just a young husband watching his sleeping wife with quiet awe. He looked at you once more, then at the road ahead, his lips curving into the faintest smile. You really can't stay still, can you? He muttered under his breath. But even as he said it, his hand stayed there, steady, protective, like it belonged. And though no one mentioned it aloud, everyone in that van knew something gentle had finally begun between you two. The van finally came to a slow stop in front of a small countryside diner. Everyone stretched, yawning and chatting as they stepped out one by one, but Jungkook didn't move. You were still asleep, head resting on his chest, blanket slipping slightly from your shoulder, your lips parted softly with each slow breath. You looked so peaceful, so unaware of the noise around. He looked down at you, unsure what to do. Part of him thought about waking you, but then he saw the faint dark circles under your eyes. How tired you must have been from waking up early that morning. His hand hesitated mid-air, then fell back down. You needed rest, so while everyone else went inside the diner, Jungkook stayed behind. He waited for a bit, hoping you would wake up on your own, but when Mrs. John called softly from outside, "Jungkook, come eat something," he finally sighed. He couldn't leave you hungry either. With quiet care, he slid his arm under your knees and another around your back. You stirred faintly, mumbling something but didn't open your eyes. Jungkook froze for a second. You felt so soft, so close. Then he stood up carefully, holding you against him. Your head rested on his shoulder as he stepped out of the van, blankets still around you. A few of his relatives turned when they saw him, and the sight made them smile instantly. Oh my, look at that. He's actually carrying her. Our Jungkook. Told you, he's just shy, not cold. Mrs. John's eyes softened, pride filling her face. She leaned toward her husband, whispering, "I told you." He would open up slowly. Look at him now. Jungkook didn't pay attention to any of it. He just adjusted his hold a little tighter when the breeze hit, making sure the blanket covered you properly. You shifted again, your hand brushing against his chest, and his breath hitched. That familiar flutter in his chest again, confusing, yet. He walked inside the diner quietly, everyone pretending not to stare too obviously. He chose a corner table, sat down with you still in his arms, and let you rest against him while he ordered something light. Mrs. John came by and placed a small bowl of soup in front of him, whispering softly, "She hasn't eaten anything. Make sure she eats a little when she wakes." He nodded, his eyes still on your face. "I will." And she smiled, not because of what he said, but how he said it. There was care in his voice now, gentle and unforced. You stirred again after a few minutes, your fingers curling slightly against his shirt. Your eyes fluttered open, still dazed. Where are we?" Jungkook looked down, his tone soft but steady. "Lunch stop." You fell asleep. Your eyes widened a little when you realized you were still in his arms. Wait, oh my god. You carried me? He gave a small nod, almost shyly. You didn't wake up. I didn't want you to miss eating. Your cheeks warmed instantly. You could have just woke me. He looked at you for a second, his lips twitching into a faint smile. Didn't want to. That simple line, calm, honest, made your heart skip just like his did earlier. Across the table, his family watched quietly, pretending to look elsewhere so that you won't feel embarrassed, but exchanging small, happy smiles. After so long, it finally looked like the cold distance between you both was starting to melt, one gentle, unspoken moment at a time. When you both reached the farmhouse that evening, the sky was already painted in soft orange and pale gold. Everyone went to their rooms, tired from the long drive and late lunch. The house slowly turned quiet, just the sound of distant crickets and the faint hum of the ceiling fan above. You walked into the room you shared with Jungkook, still feeling a little dazed from everything that happened that day, from falling asleep on him to waking up in his arms, to the way he had looked at you like you meant something more than just a wife by arrangement. You placed your bag down near the table and turned toward him. He was standing by the window, looking outside at the fading light. His sleeves were rolled up, his hair slightly messy from the trip, but his face looked softer somehow. Not cold, just thoughtful. You hesitated for a moment. You didn't have to carry me, you know. You sat quietly, breaking the silence. He turned a little, his voice calm. I wanted to. That simple answer made you blink. You wanted to? He nodded once. You looked tired, peaceful. His eyes lowered slightly. Didn't want to wake you. You didn't know what to say. Your heart beat faster, the air between you growing warmer, even though nothing was said outright. You took a few steps closer. Your voice was soft. You surprise me sometimes. How? You act like nothing ever gets to you, like you don't care much, but then you do things that say the opposite. He looked up then, meeting your gaze. Maybe I just don't know how to show it right. The way he said that, quiet, almost unsure, made your chest ache. You took another step closer until you were standing right in front of him. Jungkook, you whispered, you don't have to be perfect at it, you just have to be honest. He stayed silent for a moment, then exhaled slowly. Honest? You nodded, yes, just say what's in your heart. For a long second, he just looked at you. Then he took a small step forward, closing the last bit of distance. His voice dropped, low but steady. I thought I wasn't made for this, for warmth, for closeness. I never tried before, never wanted to. He paused. You noticed when his eyes softened, but with you, it doesn't feel strange anymore. It feels like I was just waiting to know what this feels like. Your breath caught. His words weren't smooth or poetic, but they were real. You looked up at him, your voice trembling slightly. Are you saying you? He cut you off gently, his hand moving up to tuck a strand of hair behind your ear. Yes, I love you. You froze, the words sinking in slowly like sunlight spreading through your chest. He didn't look away, didn't hide this time. His eyes held nothing but quiet truth. I tried not to. He continued softly. Tried to stay distant, but every day you made it harder. You make everything feel different. Tears gathered in your eyes, and before you could stop them, one slipped down your cheek. He reached out and wiped it gently with his thumb. You smiled through the tears. You are terrible at hiding your heart, you know that? He gave a faint laugh, the corner of his mouth lifting. Yes, I am. You leaned closer, your forehead resting against his chest. I love you too, Jungkook. His arm slowly came around you, hesitant at first, then firmer, as if he finally understood what it meant to hold someone without fear. The world outside was quiet now. The farmhouse lights glowed softly through the curtains. And in that small, private moment, surrounded by silence and each other's warmth, it finally felt like the beginning of something real. A love that wasn't rushed but discovered gently, one heartbeat at a time.